All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Varcheck. I'm your host Taps, and yeah, guys. This is 2025. Jacob's here. He's my witness to it. It's 2025, and this is the first time you're seeing us. Well, seeing me. Noah's on injury reserve. He's coming back soon. We already talked about it. He's getting fit in the gym, but this is the first time you've seen it. You're gonna see more of me. You're gonna be seeing more of me. It's gonna be a good time. Trust me, guys. I've never broken a promise. Have I?
Well,
Maybe
okay,
two.
okay. You know what? We're not gonna go there because first of all, we have a special guest, and normally I do the intros, but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
appreciate that, man. Thanks, Taps, and thanks, Jacob, for getting me on. My name is Efosa. What can I say about myself? I'm a big Arsenal fan,
Yeah,
so I guess I'm in the right company.
yeah. Well, three of us. Jacob's converted. If you guys remember, guys, he's converted. He's an Arsenal fan. Californi's there, and you know how it goes. He's converted.
I didn't have
Yeah.
a choice.
You don't have a choice. It is what it is.
Yeah, so what else can I say about myself? I'm a footballer as well. I still play.
Yep.
I'm the president of Inter Milan Ottawa Soccer Club. I'm the CEO of Vantage Sports Coverage, and that's pretty much it.
All right, so now I'm going to add a little oomph to that. So, like, first of all, this is my striker, huh? The goal threat himself, Mr. Number 9 himself, the man of many endeavors. So we're going to add that to the intro too as well. So you said you're a footballer, so I've played with you, so that's why I'm saying my striker. So I know how you play. So just kind of like talk to us about like your like first of all, like before we talk about your football history, just talk about your footballing playing style, like
Yeah,
position and everything.
well, so I'm a striker, as you said, and yeah, we played a couple of years back, man.
Yeah.
This was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as a striker, you have to always be there to finish. That's my philosophy,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm the kind of striker that wants to finish with the first touch. I don't want to dwell on the ball in the box in tight spaces.
Yeah.
On the ball to land and just finish. That's my style of play. I like to play 1-2. So a lot of combination play with my midfielders, my wingers, And then as you get older, right, you get slower. So you wanna have the youngsters run around while you just sort of position yourself. So that's my style. I play like a false nine. Yeah.
I was gonna say like, well, and before I had my uncle status. Before I had my uncle status, like pre-COVID, when we used to play this, I used to do a lot of the running on the wings.
I remember.
No, yeah,
I remember.
no, you used to be quick in the box. So it's like this is the thing. It was perfect combinations. Like them times, like by Algonquin days, like everything was great. Then as you're saying, like, because now it's like I'm back this season too. I'm playing guys. I'm dusting off the boots, and it's like now the play style is like I can kind of do it for like 40 minutes, but guys, like you're 19. Come on, bro. Like you have energy to burn. Just run. I'm gonna see you. I can have 3 assists. I'm fine. 3 assists. Sub me off, coach. I'm good. I have what I need. So you know what? Yeah. I understand that completely. So that's your playing style. Let's just talk about like your footballing history. Because like for example, like everybody like wow, amateur, semi-pro, everything else. Everyone has like this is the thing. If you've played the game of football, no matter what level you've played the game of football. Obviously, some people like Ballon d'Or and everything else. But if you play the game of football, you know the game of football. So just talk to us your footballing history when you fell in love with the game and everything else.
Yeah, so I mean, like I grew up in Nigeria, so like Nigeria plays, we all play football, and we don't call it soccer, we call it football, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, grew up playing football. I started taking it seriously when I was like, I'll say 10.
Yeah.
When I went to high school, I started like trying to get into the school team and everything. So eventually got into the school team, and then I was like, yo, you know what? It'd be interesting if I could go pro here. I was really fast when I was young.
Yeah.
So then I went to New York. I played for my university in New York. 4 years. And then I went to the Netherlands. I played in the Netherlands amateur level. And I went to the UK. I played there as well.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Canada. So came to Canada. I played for a couple of clubs here in Ottawa. And then I'm still playing, but now I'm playing for my own club.
Yeah.
So which is a pleasure, right?
It's a pleasure and it's a flex.
Yeah.
It's a 2-for-1 there. But just picking up on there, so you've seen different places and like for different periods too of time where the football is, for example, Netherlands, Nigeria is always football. Netherlands always football. But in the States too as well, because even though like football still in the States, it's still on the come up because it's like and still, it's not gonna ever take over basketball or American football as the main sport, but you could just tell the way the football has a big impact. They call it soccer there, but where it has a big impact, it's like you just think it can be the biggest sport in every country, even if the country's main sport, like Canada, it's hockey. You just feel like the what's is it, the ceiling of it's so high in every single country that is like it can be the main sport. So which country were you most surprised in, and which country surprising about the talent level of and then which country do you think like you had your best period? Obviously it's like different periods when you're younger, when you're like this, but which country did you have the best time, and which country kind of surprised you with the level it was?
So I'll tell you what, the country that surprised me the most in terms of talent level was the US, right?
Yeah.
So when I remember we used to drive up, and we used to play with these different kinds of players, different players from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But you really saw some talent in the US that you'd be shocked that this exists here in North America. And this I'm talking about between 2007 to 2011, right?
Yeah.
So that was where I was surprised. But when I went to the Netherlands,
Yeah.
I saw technicality. I saw technical football, like tactical stuff, understanding positioning and all that. So that was a real eye opener for me.
Yeah. So that's because I even remember seeing like Ajax. They had, I think it was either them or Feyenoord. They had like a session. I think it was the Dortmund players or something. No, but I know it was no, it wasn't the Dortmund players. It was the Ajax players. I'm pretty sure. Where it's like they have a cannon that shoots it in the center, and they have to stop, and you have to get it on point every time. And I'm like, if you're doing that since you're 15,
Yeah,
and you have God-given talent too as well, then it's a long day for the defenders or your opposition. But
yeah, man, the way they develop talent in Europe, well, they're miles ahead. That's just the truth, and North America, we're trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And it's a good step. The World Cup is going to be hosted in North America, so that's good. I think soccer, football is the fastest growing sport in North America, right?
Yeah.
But we are lagging behind, and you see it. I mean, I'm not going to diss the national team, but you know how a country is doing when you see their performance on the world stage, like in the World Cup.
Yeah, 100%.
That gives you an understanding, of where they are.
And now just diving more into that, and it's good that you also brought the national team, because I think that now it's at a point where when I first kind of came to Canada, it was kind of like the team that they have a national team, but now you expect stuff because when you look at the team, you're like they have players.
Mm-hmm.
So as you say, it's growing because now it's the age where it's like Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, although they're like 24, 25 in that age bracket where they're about to enter their prime. Yeah. So now we need the next wave, and there's a lot of ballers in this Ottawa. There's a lot of ballers in Ottawa. So let's just talk about Ottawa football in general. Yeah. So it's summertime.
No, it's spring.
That was spring. we just came through winter, so right now anything feels like summer. But you're right, because summer's gonna be scorching. So it's spring. Summer's around us. The CPL is kicking off soon, and that means also with the summer coming, the CPL coming, that's a lot of football. We have a lot of local leagues as well some amateurs, some semi-pro like League One Ontario, League One Quebec. So let's talk about Ottawa football. What do you see right now in Ottawa football? Because we know the role you're playing, because we're going to talk about into Ottawa just a little bit, but we know what kind of role you're playing. But like, what do you see in the last few years in Ottawa football? Because I see a big trend of going forward, because even once again, when you guys had the trials over there, you see some of the untapped talent. You're like, there are a lot of ballers in this Ottawa. Yeah. So what do you see about Ottawa football right now that makes you happy, or what do you see that we think we kind of need to improve on?
Yeah, so I mean, being here since 2018, like I've seen some good players in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And what I see today is that there's a larger pool of talent, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that talent is looking for where to go and how to take the next steps. That's what I see. And it's down to the clubs, regardless of the stature or profile of the club in the city. It's down to us collectively to sort of identify these talents and create, avenues for them to take the next steps, right? So that's really what I see in Ottawa. Is it happening? It is happening to some level, but it could be better.
100%. So we have the leagues like there's the 47s, and then there's the Ottawa Carlton League, and then
Super League.
there's Super League too. A shout out to Super League every time. Massive FC. Don't worry, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. I took a few years off, but shout out to the Super League every time. Yes, so we have some people just kind of doing, even any Ottawa too. They have a tournament. They're going to have the tournament too. Once again, shout out any Ottawa. Just guys, check up. They're having the tournament this summer too as well. And they're playing the semifinals and the finals at the TD setup. So it's like, I went to the last final, crazy. It was good atmosphere and everything else. So, but I just didn't see as many people as I thought that I should see even there, because it's a free event, summer, good football. What else do you have to do? Like, I understand, like, okay, people have use work and stuff like that, but it's just generally where it's like we have these leagues and everything else. I'm just want to just see just people just come and more support, because like if you're not playing, just if you have nothing to do, just go watch. Take videos here and there, just because put more pressure, because even at the stadiums at the Atletico games, you see it full, but it's like the sum of the playing, the play styles, the atmosphere, some of the times what they have in like the halftime shows, it's excellent. It's what a show. It's what they're trying to emulate, as you say, in Europe. So that's why I'm saying we have the steps kind of going over there. So I see kind of that, but I just see more people kind of just, I would say, need to kind of like, I would say,
Get involved.
That's
No, absolutely. I think people need to get involved more. I think there has to be better promotion of the sport.
Yeah.
Through like media companies. So like Vantage Sports, for example, has a role to play.
Yeah.
And so do others. But like, I think that the atmosphere that you're talking about, it comes from engagement. So the question is, how do you engage fans, right? Like, how do you get them interested?
That's true.
So I'll tell you what we do at our club is to encourage players to bring their partners, bring their family, and create an atmosphere during our games, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that, like, your family's involved, you feel more emotion, you feel like you want to play better.
Yeah.
I remember, I was in the last season or the season before, I played a game against a club, and they brought fans, their own fans, and they were chanting and singing. And we were winning, but that's one of the most pressure I've felt on the pitch before. Like, I was worried that, like, I haven't seen this before, right? So that's the power of fan engagement, right? And them being involved.
Yeah.
100%.
I remember we played, I think it was even last season, played a game, I think it might have been the 47s. I think it was in that league. We played a team, and the average age was about 50. Probably the average age was about 50. But they came with all like the grandkids and everything else. And it's just like we were like the away team. It was just like we were the away team.
Yeah.
And they also like got an extra kick from it, as you were saying, and it was a long day, and I thought like they were 50-year-olds effortlessly running around. My apologies, and I'm just out here just like catching my breath, and I'm just like, you know what? I liked it, I enjoyed it, and I'm just like, that's how it's kind of needs to be. So now let's just talk about your club, Inter Ottawa. So just explain to us from the ground up, like once again, like just talk to us about your club.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think I should shout out to Atletico Ottawa.
Yeah.
And also the women's team, Ottawa Rapids, as well.
Oh yes.
Shout out to them. I'm wishing both clubs like a successful season.
100%.
Yeah, so Inter Milan Ottawa Soccer Club. Where do I start? I think sometimes, destiny catches up to you. When I moved to Ottawa in 2018, I was meant to play for Inter Milan Ottawa Soccer Club.
Okay.
What happened was my transfer documentation didn't come from the UK on time.
Oh.
So I ended up not playing for them because I didn't get the necessary permit.
Yeah.
And fast forward, now we're 2025, so what's that? 2018, 7 years?
Yeah.
So fast forward 7 years, reconnected with the club president from way back, and he remembered me and all of that, and then the opportunity presented itself, and I took over the club.
Yeah.
So that's really what's happened. But in between when I arrived and, when I took over the club, I played for several clubs.
Yeah.
I played for CCA, I played for Sunset Lakers. And, I got to a point where I almost like gave up on soccer, to be honest, because I had an injury. I got really emotional about it, and I thought, well, I'm still like 29. Like, I still have, some years to play.
Bro, you're the Vardy spear. This is the Vardy spear. You still have another 8-10 years to go. You're good.
Yeah. So I think I was at a crossroads at that moment because I had this injury I was worried about, and I've had surgery before because of football. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna push to keep playing, but I need to start thinking about what happens after football. Like what happens when my body doesn't recover the same way and stuff like that. And that's when I got into coaching. Now, I don't have any coaching qualifications, but I understand, what a player needs, when a player needs to be, told off, and when a player needs to have an arm around them, and encourage them. So I started coaching a couple of years ago, and then I have this knack for building teams, right? So I started scouting, putting players together and stuff. And, fast forward a couple of years, then I've transitioned from player to player coach. And then now to president of the club, so it's changing responsibilities as you go along.
So, okay. So now you've played, you've watched, played, managed, coached, because like, I want to pick up on a point what you said. You're like, you have no coaching badges, but once again, you played the game, you love the game. So that's one thing that I've seen that's worked, because now everyone's looking for, you don't have these certain qualifications, A, B, C, but like, I remember I've seen some people, and it's getting more common because I've seen it like 3-4 times. They've gotten hired from just their careers on Football Manager. I think even the Rams manager, I think that's what he like. They were like going crazy over him for a period of time because of that. And then I'm just like, yeah, so because some people just understand everything. People like see it differently. So why waste the time? It's just like this NBA thing. Why, if he's good in high school and he's going to be a basketball, why does he need to go to college? Just go straight over there. LeBron James, you know what I mean? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But it's like the times it works is beautiful. You know what I mean? So so how you just kind of manage the transitions and the responsibilities from, like, once again, you went from like just playing the game, loving the game, to now you have all this responsibility, player, coach, running the club. So how do you manage everything else, especially the expectations? Because once again, the players, they're kind of looking up to you. Like, once again, you want to get results, but you also have to keep yourself fit. So like, how do you manage everything?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's a lot to manage for sure. Like, so when you're a player, all you care about is being on the pitch and playing. When you become a captain of a team or a coach or player coach, then you start to think about, okay, well, it's no longer about me just stepping on the pitch. It's about, how do I get the players fit? How do I get them performing? How do we get the results we need, right? When you start to manage, teams, you start to deal with the administrative stuff that comes with football. So registering players, making sure they have the IDs, making sure you have the paperwork for the match, and all that stuff. And then when you take it up you step it up a notch, then you have managing a club, which there's so many moving parts that even I was not aware of. So you have to be devoted, you have to have a passion for the sport, and you have to have a long-term vision. So that is what really drives you, right? Because we only have 24 hours in a day, right? So there's only that much time you can dedicate to football or to, your passion or whatever. You just have to make sure that passion is aligned, and you channel the energy to do what needs to be done step by step, and you keep yourself aware of, trends and developments in the game.
So I'm just hearing a whole lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Moving on from, like, well, kind of staying back on there, because once again, I'm in a position where it's just like I'm kind of like managing, kind of overseeing, but once again, it just got to a point where it's just too much overload. It's like that. So how important is it to have the right people around?
That's key. That's very key, because regardless of how good you are, you can't do everything on your own, right? So you have to surround yourself with people that you trust and people that key into your vision, right? So that's what in this case, that's what I've done. So the vice president of the club, he's keyed in to the vision. We've played together for years now. We're friends. And we've built that mutual trust over time. So he knows the kind of person I am. I know the kind of person he is, so we work well together. We're different, we
Yeah.
work well together. And yeah, that's been a great help, because there's so much that you just can't manage on your own,
Yeah.
right? And as the club grows, there's going to be that need to bring in more people to support the structure,
Yeah.
because it's just impossible to manage a growing club. So.
100%. So I've seen it with my kind of my own eyes. Once again, the food train session. So before I ask this question, I as a player, like when I first came in, I was like, okay, maybe when you still have that little bit of hope where you're like, you look around, you had those 1-2 games, and you're like, I think I might, but you don't find like even an organization where it's like serious enough that you'd be like, okay, train sessions and everything else. So far, from what I've seen from your club, from the train session I did, is like you guys take it seriously. People clock in on time, people come on time, people are held accountable and everything else. So what's your message to like the players in Ottawa, the ballers in Ottawa and everything, why they should, if they want to join a club and to join a competitive club and club that wants to achieve things, why they should join
Inter Milan? Well, so that's a very good question. So for me, I've always said to my players, if you want to show up and just have fun, there's avenues for that. And Inter Milan Ottawa Soccer Club creates that avenue.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to play just for fun, we have the men's recreational teams. If you're older, we have the old timers teams. If you want to play at a good level, where you're pushed to improve, and you want to play at a competitive level, it may be that you're pursuing trying to become a professional player.
Yeah.
Like I have a 17-year-old, brilliant. I think he has what it takes to go pro. Right. I have a 16-year-old. He's being developed, for the future. But I also have 27-year-olds who maybe are unable to go pro just because age isn't on their side, but they still want to play good football, right? So what I do is what the club is doing is creating that platform and identifying where you fit into that club, right? So if you want to play competitive, if you have what it takes to take us to the next level, then we bring you in.
Yeah.
If you want to just have fun, we have the recreational avenues for players that just maybe they don't want to train every week and all of that. They just want to show up once a week. We also have that. So my message to players out there is, first of all, go on our Instagram page and find out a bit about us. Ask questions if you want. We've held tryouts. We do scout. So I go to games and I scout players and I speak to players as well. But if you're looking for a serious club, if you're looking to take the next step in your football to improve as a player, as a person, Inter Milan Ottawa Soccer Club is for you, for sure.
Guys, you heard it from the horse's mouth. I think that might be the same, but you heard it from the horse's mouth because once again, you might call it bias, but I've seen it, and once again, knowing you and knowing once again what kind of person you are and like how much you dedicated to other stuff and like seeing your love for the game. That's why I'm like, guys, it's stamped. And even seeing some of the balls they have, there's one winger that I'm like, if we ever cross paths, I'm playing up front. I'm not playing at the back. I'm not, because I'm like, even when I was hearing him talk, he was like, and he's like showing the highlights. And I'm like, okay, so avoid the side. No, you know what? I want to know the smoke. Let's go.
I want to add something to what I said, right? So, like, as I said, like players are looking for, I know there's some players are looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And opportunities are hard to come by. So I'm sure that there is a defined pathway,
Yeah.
You go to college, you get scouted, you go to CPL.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes the conventional way doesn't work for every player.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So what Inter Milan Ottawa Soccer Club is trying to do is to create a pathway for players that maybe don't have the avenues to go the conventional route, So I'm flying to the UK next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sort of establish a relationship with an academy in the UK.
Okay.
They have a strong network with clubs in England and in Europe. And, we'll see how those conversations go. But the idea is that, players in my club have that exposure. They have the eyes from Europe on them. And, they could potentially be invited there to be assessed and then for scouts to have a look, right? So these are some of the initiatives that we're trying to to drive as a club.
Yeah.
And what that does is it gives hope to the players
Yeah.
that are still young, still have time on their side,
Yeah.
and they have something to look forward to. They have that motivation to push them to improve, right? So
100%. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because when I have a saying, like, bring real scouting back, because even when I'm seeing, like, if we can take it to the highest thing, like EPL, like Arsenal, I'm just, for example, we'll just bring that in for a second. I'm not trying to get a $200 million striker. Like,
Mhm.
you bring it to me, that's fine. But where's like the Eduardo when we got him for when that was
I
like, you
know.
know what I mean, the 13, and you see some of the other teams, like, once again they're getting 13 million signs, they're flipping them. I'm not even worried about the flipping, but I'm just saying you can't go to the southernmost port of Portugal and find me a striker who's 21, 22.
Yeah.
I don't care about the age and everything else. Just bring me a baller once again.
Mhm.
So once again, that's when I'm just bringing on to the scouts and everything else, especially with the CPL, because CPL has been doing some great things. But one thing is kind of I'm not really still seeing is I'm seeing the younger kids once again. They're coming through their academies, like York have Academy, Vancouver, and everything, Halifax. I'm seeing that's great, and they're also the open tryouts too for all the clubs. Always have open tryouts, but nobody really hears about that.
Yeah.
So that's when all the teams need to kind of with their scouts be like, okay, you know what? There's the Ottawa Carlton League. There's this league.
Mhm.
It's a Thursday night. It's a Sunday night. Just go watch it. You never know what you'd find.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? So you have talent in Ottawa, you have talent in Toronto, Montreal, and so on and so forth, right? Like, how do you identify that talent? Right? Your scouting game has to be strong, right? So if you're an Atletico Ottawa, yes, you know, you'd get professionals that who have maybe played outside of Canada and have that experience, but you also have to focus on, you know, talent in the city, right? So I think scouting overall could be better.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I'm not sort of knocking what's been done already, but like the more eyes you have on players, the more you're likely to find that gem.
100%.
And what you said is true. Like that's one thing I loved about Arsene Wenger, right? So his scouting network was crazy. So he would bring you this player from nowhere, and this player like Eduardo da Silva was a baller. Unfortunately he broke his leg, but like you need that sort of reach, to see what's possible and stuff. And I think the modern game is struggling a little bit from that. I think they're maybe they're over analyzing and not willing to take as much risks as people have done in the past. So
That's it, because, like, for example, I see a player who's like, oh, he's worth valued at 60 million. You have about 4 of the clubs going around. And I'm just looking around, and I was on X the other time, and I just seen a page. I forget it. And he was just like, this is this option. These are all the alternatives.
Mhm.
And then when I had time, I'm just like, I think it was the Stuttgart center midfielder they were analyzing, and then they were like, okay, these are the alternatives. And I saw a guy in Bundesliga too, and I'm just like, he looks like he passes the eye test.
Mhm.
But once again, 23, 24, this, but I'm just like, you put him on this pitch right here, the same things he's going to be doing, the same people can. So once it's just like, it's not even getting lucky. It's now that the teams and I have access to more money, it's like the scouting is becoming less and less.
So they're looking at. I'll tell you what's happening. They're looking at data.
Yeah,
They're looking at stats.
GAN,
They're
all
looking
those
at
things.
player statistics, performance. They're looking at numbers, and I think so that takes away from the eye test a little bit. So a player might look good, and then they go look at the numbers, and
Like, he doesn't score
not
all
so
the
much.
seasons.
So it's a balance they have to find. But again, it is what it is, right? But what it does is it's players that pass the eye test never get those opportunities. Right? So we have to stick with some traditional means, which is looking at a player and seeing that, okay, this player, if we give him all the facilities to train and bring him up to the level where he's training with players that of this quality and this caliber, he can improve.
And that's what it is. Just once again, because you see what he's doing over there, you'll be like, you know what? With this facilities we have, the player personnel we have over here, he probably would reach his full potential.
Exactly.
That's what it is. So
Exactly.
once again, you scouts, get on the boot, because I'm seeing, like, especially that's why I keep on shouting out the CPL, because I'm like, finally there's something in your backyard, and like you can expand. There's so many. Alberta has, and Montreal still doesn't have a team, which is crazy. But I think there's the working behind the scenes, there's stuff going on trying to get extra teams, but it has such a big ceiling. And now even the team Saint Laurent, I think the team Saint Laurent, they I think they went toe to toe with Toronto there, and I think they went far in the Canadian championships.
Yeah.
And some of their players like got moves to the CPL, and I'm like, I want to see more of those.
Yes.
League One, Ontario and Quebec. I think the Quebec one are introducing relegation and promotion, and then those are the facilities we want to see more competitive. Everything means more. That's, and then for example, like someone who's like, I never really thought about playing football because I'm in Canada, maybe there's not many opportunities. Like, you know what? Let me just try it out. Next thing you know, he has that success story. So it's more about creating success stories. So scouts, get back on the field and bring us ballers. You know what I'm saying? We have
totally
teams we need to fill up. We have teams we need to fill up. Like,
for real.
so you know, there's a lot more needs to be done, but there's good steps. And like, once again, having people like you in Ottawa that's trying to push this, that's what we need. So yes, that comes to the end of the show. So before anything else, you want to give anything a shout out?
Well, I mean, shout out to my players, Inter Milan, Ottawa Soccer Club players. Of course, shout out to the ballers out there in Ottawa. As I said before, like, check out our Instagram page. Get in touch with us if you're looking for a club for the summer. We take our football seriously, you know. So if you're looking to compete and you want to bring the right mentality to the table, by all means, you know, we're committed to developing players and creating pathway for them to go pro. And if you just want to join a community-based club, Inter Milan Ottawa Soccer Club is a club for you.
100%. All the information in the bio and their stuff will be in the bio. There's nobody know who does this, so that's why I was just like, all in the bio. So all the information will be in the bio. Trust me, we'll tag them, everything else. Once again, thank you, brother, for coming. Jacob, thank you for allowing us to for me, you know,
come on.
you know, it's been a while.
Appreciate it, man.
You guys.
100%. And guys, and I'm dead serious. You guys, it's not gonna be another few months. It's gonna be next week. I even made the bookings. Like, am I lying? Did I not make like
There's more to come. There's more to come.
Yeah, there's more to come. So there's other guests too as well. The CPL starting, so the CPL show is back too. We have another African football show. We have 2 versions of them that's coming up right now, guys. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening, guys. And so once again, I'm your host, Taps. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you guys next time.